Welcome to the 40k Fireside podcast, where we discuss everything to do with competitive Warhammer 40k with your hosts Vik VJ and David Gaylord.
Hello and welcome everyone. I have been a very happy boy because an army which, and I'm about to say the meme, I've always loved, has actually gotten an awesome detachment, and I always have loved Tyranids. They were the very first army I started playing when I was a kid on a farm in New Zealand. I had old kind of fixes like this, the old metal ones. I had whatever I could buy secondhand off what was eBay back then, and this was probably 19 years ago. We played a mixture of 3rd and 4th edition on my dad's model train set landscape layout, and then I stopped playing Warhammer for ages and kind of got back into the 9th edition. So they've always been a huge love for me. I've always loved like that kind of Starship Trooper vibe to them. I've always played Zerg in StarCraft 2 and StarCraft Brood War, so they've been a really big thing for me. Now, what I thought I'd do today is do a bit of a deep dive on this detachment, because this has a lot going on to it, and I think a lot of people are thinking about this detachment in potentially the wrong way here. This has got a lot of power to it, and there are actually multiple viable builds under here that may surprise you, I think. And if you're going one build or the other, it's really going to depend on what stratagems you want to utilize. So I'm just going to give this a warning. I've played 2 games with this detachment, and I'm pretty sure I've got the rules right, but I will stand by. There may be an instance which I have them wrong. Please let me know in the comment section below. But let's kick into it. Okay, so if you're reading a detachment, it basically doesn't matter what army you're playing, I think. If the first part of the detachment is your entire army gets reroll hit rolls of 1, that's a win. That's about as good as it gets almost, apart from army-wide fallback advanced shoot and charge or something. This is really good. It's better than every other detachment just with this ability right here. But, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, we get a super spicy meatball baked in here that's gonna come. Okay, next up. This is very important. Each time a borrower unit from your army is set up on the battlefield from reserves, place a circular 40mm tunnel marker anywhere on the battlefield within 1 inch of that unit and more than 3 inches horizontally away from enemy units. Okay, so what are borrower units? Okay, Morlock and Trigon gain the borrower keyword. And then if I zoom over to here, the new datasheet for Raveners that has been announced, you'll notice there are some changes here. They are now 522 twin linked. They gain the borrower's keyword. And the new Ravener datasheet gains the borrower's keyword as well. They also gain Vanguard Invaders. So maybe if you're a Vanguard enjoyer, that might be a good one for you as well. Okay, so we have 4 units or 4 datasheets that can trigger our ability to set up markers on the battlefield. That's very important. Okay, next part. So first we want to set up a marker, and then this part is, I'm not going to lie, this part is pretty ridiculous. In the reinforcement step of your movement phase, when you set up a unit on the battlefields from reserve, a unit, it doesn't have to have the borrower keyword, it does not have to have the Vanguard Invader keyword, anything. It's any Tyranid unit that you're playing. So that could be an Exocrine. That could be a Turvagon. That could be a Tyrannifex. You can set that unit up. So whenever you're going to set up a unit from reserves, which you would normally do, you can set that unit up wholly within 9 of one of the tunnel markers that you have just placed and more than 6 inches horizontally away from enemy units. Okay, so what does this look like in practice? Let me just jump into TTS here really quick, just to demonstrate this. So I'm going to stop sharing. And big face, TTS, bam, and add scene, Shazam. Okay, so what does this look like in practice? Well, Raveners, if you don't know, have the, and if you're not a Tyranid player, by the way, this is a really great time to get into the army because you can basically almost play any data sheet here, I'm not going to lie, it's very good. So let's say Raveners, they have Uppy Downy, okay, and then if we go back to the Ravener keyword as well, the datasheet, they also have the Deep Strike ability. So they can just Deep Strike 9 away. Okay, so I just put my New York list for Ultramarines Gladius on the table. Let's say at the very simplistic level, we're going into our turn 2, and we went first. Well, we pick up all our Raveners, and we bring one down 9 inches away. Okay, we can put a 9-inch bubble right here. Bam, just like that. This is just with a straight up native deep strike. Okay, and then maybe we could put our unit around here, wherever. We can then put a marker, a 40mm marker. Let me find one. Anywhere within range of this unit. So we could put it right here, as long as it's more than 6 away. Okay, so great. And I think it's within an inch. Let me just double check there. Yeah, within 1 inch. So you can place it within an inch. So we're going to zoom right in here, within an inch, and bam. So if you're 9 away from a Ravener, okay, if your Ravener is 9 away from a unit, you can place the marker within 6, which is then within range of the Ballistic Dreadnought. It's directly 6 inches away. But you don't really need to be directly 6 inches away. What I did from my game plan and my understanding is you can actually put the marker like over here, for example, because you can deep strike within 9 inches of the marker. So just to clarify something, the marker basically creates something that's like this big. Oh, that's going to be really hard to do. Give me a second. I'll try and nail this. Maybe like that from the marker. Well, the Ravener is 9 inches. Well, okay, we can place the Ravener. So if our Ravener is the marker, we can place it right here. We can deep strike 6 away over here, deep strike 6 away over here, and that's still, 7, and we could probably make it, bam, a 6. So you can deep strike your Ravener unit right here. You can place the marker flexibly wherever you want, and apologies if there are lots of circles everywhere, but you can place the marker really flexibly. Next up, you could also then deep strike another Ravener unit to that marker, for example. So you could deep strike maybe your Trigon. Okay, bam, I really want to get my Trigon in. Boy, this guy's so sick. We could deep strike him 6 away. Awesome, that's really good. You could put the marker down over here, for example, over here. You could place the Trigon down over here. The Trigon is then 6 away directly. You could place another marker when the Trigon arrives down here, 6 away. Excellent. And there you go. It's really, really flexible. You don't even have to place the marker 6 away, actually. You just need to be within an inch. So you can place the marker here, then be 6 inches away, and you can get a deep strike with another Ravener unit right here. Maybe you want to bring a Hive Tyrant in. Spicy! This detachment is so sick, man. Okay. Okay, let's jump back over to the rules here. Now you might say, David, that's completely busted. There is ways to play around this. There is army limitations here, and I'm going to go into that in the list building part of this video as well. Awesome. Okay, so the next key part about this is that when you arrive from a tunnel marker, you do not consume the tunnel marker. The tunnel marker still stays there until an enemy unit ends any kind of movement within 3 inches of it. So like in that previous TTS example we had, you could deep strike like 800 points onto one marker, which is kind of crazy. So what that means is your ratio of burrower units to other units in your army can be very minimal. So like Raveners are not the best datasheet, if I'm being honest now, but you only need to run a few of them, especially if you want to have some explosive turns. Okay, there's so much stuff you can do with markers, guys. I'm going to get into some stuff later on in the video. Okay, so if they end a move, you destroy the marker. Okay, that's fine. Okay, Morlock and Trigon gain the Burrow keyword. In the Muster armies, 2 Trigon models can gain the character keyword. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, let's go through the enhancements. Now, surprised to say, some people will probably disagree with what I'm about to say here. Synaptic strategy, I don't believe is actually that great, because typically you have one unit you want to rapid ingress, because in my list, I only play 1 Trigon. So you don't really need that. The Ravener character unit can also rapid ingress after that. So, if you're running them, you can rapid ingress them as well. But it is worth saying, it is quite good if you don't want to make a 9-inch charge to rapid ingress a unit onto the marker, for example. One obviously thing is that you can rapid ingress to a marker within 6, I believe. I didn't do that in my games, but I believe you could do that, and that's how the skill ceiling for these markers is really high. Okay, tremor sensors. This is actually surprisingly good for a couple of reasons. Mainly because redeploy is always good, but you're going to want to put a reasonable amount of your army in Strat Reserve. So if you're playing, maybe you've got a model collection where you don't have a lot of the deep strike models, you'll find that you might even hit the 500 point mark pretty fast, especially if you're playing big monsters. So being able to redeploy gets around that strategic reserve limitation of 500 points. Okay, Vanguard Intellect. This one here I'm actually not that hot on. If you go second, this is not really that great because as far as I know, you can't turn one Deep Strike with Vanguard Intellect and then bring in anything that's useful because it still has to come in your next reserve phase. So you can't really turn one Gets people. I don't think this is that great. This is okay if you go first and you have a Ravener character unit that you put it on and set up the tunnel marker on your home field objective. And we're going to get into why later that might be useful, but I don't think it's worth the points personally. Trigon Prime, this is a fucking slam dunk, mate. This enhancement is so badass, dude. This turns the Trigon into an absolute Terminator killing machine. Oh my god. Both games I played with him, he was absolutely destroying face. Basically, it makes him weapon skill 2, and he rerolls 1s, and then it gives him +2 strength. So he goes from strength 9 to strength 11, which if you're trying to kill a vehicle, is +2 to wound, and then +1 to hit. Absolute slam dunk. This thing is fucking good, man. Every list should have a Trigon Prime in it. All right, sweet. So let's go through some of the strats. Okay, adaptive optimization. I never used it in any single of my games. You're probably never going to use this. Replenishing swarms. This one is actually very good. I think that this is a bit of a sleeper strat for the whole detachment, and I think that this is a bit of a sleeper ability in general. Regaining up to D3 +1 wounds is very powerful because it's a minimum 2 amount of models that you're going to get back. So if you have a bigger coherency, you're going to get minimum 2, which makes it easier to string back onto objectives. And you might say, David, well, how would you get a tunnel marker in your deployment zone near a center objective to redeploy back onto? Well, respawn back onto. Well, pick your Raveners up turn 1, deep strike them back in your deployment zone, and then boom, you've got one right there. Super easy to trigger. This gives the army a really interesting way of actually just playing primary as well. So it makes the army very dynamic. It means that you can pressure your opponent's primary with, like, say, some Hormagaunts by threatening to respawn onto the middle. And if you're playing against a big shooting army that can kill your monsters really fast and you want to slow the game down while still being in it, this is a really prime way of doing that. So I think a big unit of 20 is really interesting. And that's awesome, I think. All right, Enfilading Emergence. This is pretty good, mainly because you will actually have the ability to use this quite often. Now, it does just give sustain 1, so hey, just put it out there. That big Trigon guy that comes in with like 12 attacks and it's on 2s or early 1s, just gives sustain 1. But where this is pretty good is actually oftentimes you might want to just deep strike a Exocrine. And that's just like sustain 1, not deep strike, but use a strat that we're going to get to give him reroll sustain 1. If you're on the critical breakpoint, like let's say you're against the pressure army, you need to kill Chosen or you need to kill like Dish Shot Terminators, something like that, and you just want to give them that little extra bit of oomph, then you can use this one here. It is a lot better in melee, obviously, though, as well. Like if you put that bad boy on a Horospex, ooh. Okay, next up, we've got Tunnel Network. A little bit difficult to understand, but let's go into it. Okay, end of your movement phase. One Tyranid unit from your army, wholly within 9 inches of one or more tunnel markers. This is quite easy to do. Remove your unit from the battlefield and set it up again, wholly within another tunnel marker you placed, and more than 6 inches horizontally away from enemy units. Okay, let's jump back into TTS, because this one's kind of interesting. And I think this is way more interesting when you start to consider some better units to put it on. Okay, so at a very high level, what does this detachment try and do? Well, at a very high level, what does this detachment offer? Think about it in your head. It offers mobility, and offers... Rerolls is always fantastic, right? But it offers mobility. So what are some of these Tyranid units that have been garbage for ages because they move like 8 inches and can't advance a charge, and they're massive? Okay, I'll give you a hint. It starts with Aura and ends with Specs. It's the Horror Specs. A model like that, which has previously been awful, now suddenly can arrive at a 6-inch deep strike and then make a 6-inch rerollable charge. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen the datasheet, but like for 125 points, the guy has 18 attacks. Now, granted, he was kind of annoying because he would always, it's always like 3s into 3s, but now he has the +1 strength from Synapse and he rerolls 1s. way more reliable now. Okay, so data sheets like that are suddenly a lot better. Like the Hive Tyrant with the Walk Rent, a lot better, because you're actually going to be able to deliver them in a way which your opponent can't respond before you stage your unit. That's massive, absolutely massive. Okay, I'm getting excited. Let's think about a tunnel network. Cool. Awesome. So let's just say we're back on the turn that we were playing, and then we re-deep strike a Ravener unit over here. Boom. Well, let's say we did that on the first turn because we could uppy downy and put it back down anyway. And then we've spawned a tunnel network in our objective. Now, you might be like, damn, this exocrine, it's got nothing to do. Or you might be like, man, this Neurotyrant ain't gonna do shit. Okay, we'll pay 1 CP. This Neurotyrant now teleports over to here. Awesome. And tell me, what would be a good play on your opponent's expansion objective when you've just nuked them in combat? Well, what if you charge a Neurotyrant and then you're there in Synapse and you unleash the warp? Okay, sweet, awesome. So what this allows you to do is like teleport a unit to then get the shooting advantage, which is really, really good. So it's good on horror spexes or whatever, but you can start those in strategic reserve anyway. But what it lets you do is like you could have an exocrine playing this side. This is super interesting. Like you could have an exocrine playing this side, deep strike back down here, place a marker, then teleport him back over to this side, and all of a sudden, like you're uppy downying like a Tyranid unit that can then shoot on that turn. Super good. Okay, so let's go into some of the better units on this as well. The Tyrannifex. What's the worst part about the Tyrannifex? That it hits on 3s. And you have to spend CP. But now it hits on 3s rolling 1s. And it has 2 railguns. Dude, that's really good. Your like Tyrannifex with Rupture Cannon, boom, hits on 3s rolling 1s is actually a huge efficiency increase for it. You know, like boom, you arrive here, gonna shoot this Ballistus Dreadnought. I'm obviously gonna miss both. Oh, hit both, easy, wound both, dead ski, mate. But you know, let's say I roll a 2, CP reroll 1, boom, hit wound both. You see what I'm saying? Like if you roll a 2 and a 1, you're like, cool, CP reroll 1, rerolling the 1 anyway. Like, oof, man, this like. The tunnel network is key, and setting up the tunnel networks for whatever maps you're playing on is actually pretty straightforward and is really powerful. Like here, if you have the 20-man Hormagaunts, just like put one here. Your tunnel network's like over here. That makes it into an objective. Awesome. You know, wholly within 9, super easy. Bam, over here. And then your unit, what you can do is, I didn't even realize this. You can move your unit and then jump in through the tunnel. So good. Oh man, I fucking love this detachment, man. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna read off the last strat here without sharing screen. Okay. Oh man. Okay, 2 strats here. These are both S tier stratagems as well. Next strat, 1 CP. Reroll charges for everything that you're going to deep strike and hit your opponent with. So, you know, this play with the Raveners, set all these Raveners up, bring this Exocrine in. He's like, yeah, I'm going to shoot your company heroes, bro. Hell yeah, man. Number of shots, 5. 9 shots. You know, get wrecked. That's 8. 1 more. Bam. Rerolling 1s. Awesome. Wounding on 3s because you're Calgar. Sick David. Kills a dude in a bit. But you can see how that's pretty sick, though. And you can then pay 1 CP on your Trigon to then reroll all these charges here. So 1 CP, you're going to reroll like 4 charges is awesome because you're just trying to hit 6s. Now, what is the chance to roll? I'm just going to look this up. Chance to roll a 6 on 2d6. The Dark Fortress has this. Rolling a 6 or above. Obviously. 1 second. Please open website. The chance of rolling a 6 is... Result of what? 72% chance. You've got a 72% chance re-rolling to hit your charges. That is very consistent. So 72% chance of the remaining, 28%? You know, 3/4. 3/4 of that is roughly, 7, 21. It's like, I don't know, 93% chance to hit your charges. Like, that's really, really good. So every 10th charge you're going to miss or something. Like, damn, that's awesome. Trigon, let's get this bad boy in combat. You're like, yeah, I'm going to charge. Oh, you want a heroic with Gilliman? Hell no, bro. I'm outside of 6. Damn. I think this bad boy brings 12 attacks, right? 12 attacks on this guy. Hell yeah, dude. 2s rerolling 1s. Bam. And I'm wounding you on 3s. That was a hit. Wounding on 3s. Sick, bro. 7 saves, AP2. take 12 damage. Nom 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 nom. Oh, that guy's awesome. Honestly, this model is just really good, guys. Like anything he goes into, like consistently eats. It's really awesome. Okay, cool. Next strat to talk about, the very last one, just uppy downy. I mean, uppy downy, you want to, you've got basically two uppy downies, right? So you've got uppy downy from network to network, then you've got uppy downy to burrower units or just something else, right? So let's say, like, for example, you wanted to uppy downy your Trigon late in the game, like you put it over here, bring it over there is good. But I think this is just best on like using on an actual unit for most part. Something that was immobile before. You could start like your Norn emissary, dude. The Norn assimilator teleport with the tunnel network. Damn. Yeah, you're not going to play this model, so don't worry. But you could like pick up the Death Leaper, loan up it late in the game, come back down, whatever. I mean, your opponent's backfield is obviously pretty threatened here as well, right? So like making this charge is really easy. Yeah, really good. I mean, uppy down is just great anyway. But it's best on the shooting units, of course, like a Rupture Fix, Exocrines, things that are typically really slow because you're going to arrive within 6 of a tunnel network. So it's uppy and downy within 6. Really good. Okay, so I've talked about like the detachment. That's kind of why it's strong. So when I go and try and break a new detachment, I really like to just play a bunch of everything. That's kind of my philosophy because I like to start formulating my ideas with the most amount of information possible. So I played a list kind of like this, and I tried out a bunch of units. I tried out the new Raveners. I tried out 15 Raveners. I tried a list I was playing before had like lots of Morlocks and heavy on the Burrower, and then I played a list like this to try like an all-rounder combined arms, and I've got a pretty good idea of like where I'd lean now. Thinking about kind of Death Guard in the meta as well. Let's get rid of some jank out of here. Okay, Zoanthropes I probably wouldn't play. I wouldn't play the Ravener Brick with the uppy downy. So that's like 285 points. Let me just give you guys a rough list here. This might be like not be completely accurate. None of the list buildings were up to date. So 285. The Flyrant was okay. Screamer Killer, I would not play. So that's like 135. Screamer Killer's not bad. Don't get me wrong. He ain't bad, but the Horus Pix is just legitimately way better in here, I think. And then I played the Norn as well. And the Norn's like 275. So this is a lot of points that we can do this. I'm going to use a calculator so I'm not making a fool of myself on stream. 285 plus 135 plus 275. Nice. Okay, first up, here's what I would put straight away. I would put in a Horus Fix. I would put in a Rupture Fix. I would add 10 more Hormagaunts. And that would allow me to use the tunnel network. So this is going to be 10 Hormagaunts 65, minus 125 for the Horus Fix, minus 200 for the Rupture Fix, and we've already still got 300 points left over. What else really impressed me? I mean, this is already looking significantly better. The Winged Hive Tyrant is a little bit of an interesting one. He does have the Deep Strike keyword, which is really nice because he's really flexible to Deep Strike and doesn't get around your ability, your Deep Strike limit. He also gives you the free strat on the turn you come down, which lets you do the reroll charged rolls on him. So he's really flexible. I really liked him. Death Leaper, I could see not playing the Neuro Tyrant. What I would like to do is definitely put in some Gene Stealers here. Now, one core thing about this list is that if your opponent has lots of screens, you're best invested to try and kill those screens, I think. So having something you can like early 6-inch or like just go hit something on turn 1 is really interesting. So like a Stealer unit, I think, is a good breakpoint here. Now, you might say, David, Stealers, they already reroll, so is that really the best thing? But you could use Hormagaunts, for example. But, I mean, Stealers, AP2 and they go to Strength 5 mean that they can reliably kill a unit of Chaff a lot better, I think. So, at a minimum, I would probably put in 1 unit of Stealers, so minus 75. We've got 230, 5 Stealers. Okay, you guys want the spice? I'll fucking give you the spice right now. Okay, next up. If we swap the Hormagaunts to Termagants, we've got... that's actually going to net us 10 points. So I'd swap the Hormagaunts to Termagants. And if you're kind of guessing it correctly here, I would play 20 thing, which nets us 10 more points. So I'm just going to give myself plus 10 points. Yay, I'm a winner. Plus 10. And I would bring in the Turvagon, I think. The Turvagon is actually not that bad in combat, man. Like, this thing right here is pretty spicy. So, actually, let me just jump into list builder here. 1 second. Share screen. One memento, new recruit. Turvagon boy, like, usually this model would be terrible, right? But if you can 6-inch deep strike it, it's got 8 attacks that on 3 at 7 at 812. Like, that's like legitimately not bad. So like stuff like that is really interesting. Okay, get this zone throw out of here. This is the old points, by the way, but don't worry about that. No one is similar. Get out of here. Get out of here, Screamer Killer. The Trigon has the enhancement. Horospex, we want another Exocrine. We got that. We want a Rupture Fix right here. Bam. And this guy, you know, Tyranids is pretty good into Death Guard as well, by the way. It's, you know, not amazing into T-Suns, but that's pretty hard for them to chew through. And against T-Suns, you're going to have the ability to like deep strike and actually get into them very quickly while staying very hidden. So they'll have to overextend into you to try and get you. And you've always got the opportunity to jump on top of them first. So I think that's a really interesting matchup here. Okay, Neurotyrant, and we're going to put in some... The Psychophage I haven't tested, by the way. So let me know down below. If you've tested the Psychophage, let me know if it's any good. Termagants, I would just run a 20 brick of these. You know, you kind of combo with the strat here as well. To give you the double respawn potentially, which I think is really good. 5 Steelers, I put them in. A Horospex, a Turvagon, awesome. So we're still working with a few points here. We've got a couple of enhancements. My thing says I've got like 240 left. That sounds about right if we got the 2 enhancements. Death Leaper I didn't have on there, so I'm going to put Death Leaper in. I do like to have like one like lone op thing right here. And we've got on points, I think we've got 215 or like 120 point enhancements. So we're roughly, you know, 10 points. There's roughly 200 points left in our list here. Now, at this point, you could go a couple of different ways. I don't even hate just going all in on, say, like another Horospex. I think that's fine. You could go for another Exocrine as well, potentially. 75 more points. I mean, if this list works out on points here, I'm going to put another Gene Stealer unit in. Where are you, Mr. Stealer? Mr. Stealer. Come on. There we go. If this is like actually 2k points, this is a pretty nice list. You've got like this Turvagon, you've got the Burrower units, like 3 Raveners and a Trigon Prime is easily enough Burrower units. That's the only enhancement we're going to play. And as you can see, like setting it up is pretty straightforward. You can just use like 1 unit. You don't need to use all of them. You've got 2 Horospexes to like dump down and play both sides of the board potentially. You've got Trigon, who's just like so kill a lot. Tyrannifex is like a little bit of long range shooting that can teleport, which is awesome. Stand on objectives. Like this list has a lot of on objective pressure, which is really good. So you can play like that kind of OC denial as well. You've still got Neurotyrant in here as well. Damn, this list is fucking good, man. Another interesting unit is like the Hive Guard. Now hit on 4s, rerolling 1s with their indirect. So if you want to kill chaff, you know, Hive Guard it up, baby. It's super interesting. Really, really cool, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this inspires you to like play some Tyranids. Let me know what your list looks like. If I'm sleeping on any units here, let me know down below. Let me know what you think is like the most powerful stratagem in here, and if you're having success with it in games. Awesome, guys. Hope that's been helpful. Have a good one. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the 40k Fireside. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, drop us a comment, check out the YouTube members area, and we look forward to seeing you again next time by the Fireside.